Shavuot, actually this evening, one of the three pilgrimage festivals. It's auspicious. It's a fantastic time period. It's something that we very, very much enjoy and very, very much excited about. So I thought we'll do a special over a few of the customs, let's just say food customs, or other things that we might do on the festival in of itself, known as the Shalosh Regalim, respectively, over here, friends. And it's obviously we know that Pesach and Sukkot are two of the other three pilgrimage festivals, respectively. And let's explore a few of the minhagim, let's just say customs, of from the Sephardic different countries, especially from the Ladino-speaking countries. I think it's always nice in a special edition to actually recount this over. So we naturally know that all the Jewish people all across the world are going to celebrate this festival of Shavuot. And there are many traditions that add to, let's just say, the joy and wonders of the holidays. Obviously, we all know that the minhag is to try and stay up the whole night to study various different selections of the Torah, the Zohar. It's actually in Ladino, it is called velada, respectively. Meaning, what does this mean? It means to guard, let's just say, or to watch. There is obviously many people have dairy meals also, or dairy food on Shabbat. Remember, at the same time also, there's a pasuk v'samachta v'chagecha where meat and wine, because it's from the Shalosh Regalim, there's a pasuk to have that. But at the same time, obviously with a 6-hour break in between, and people will have milky products and enjoy on that also respectively. So some people would have brokas, these are milky broadcasters and other favorites, let's just say, in of itself. So what many people do, they might do either maybe the nighttime meal, a dairy meal, and the daytime meal of Shavuot, a meaty meal. That's what some people do. So that in the nighttime, people are trying to stay up the whole night. They can have their coffee. Some people might just look at the optimum and have a meaty meal both in the nighttime and in the daytime, in order, let's just say, to satisfy the pasuk of the Samachta V'Chagecha. But after 6 hours, let's just say, early morning, let's just say they do a kiddush, and they can have a milky meal. Or if they're up the whole night, they'll do the Su'udah, let's just say, at 8 o'clock at night time, 8:30, depending on the country. And then say, come at 2:30 in the morning, they're already up. Then they'll have the milky products. And also maybe at some stage in the daytime of Shavuot, if it's already been 6 hours since meal, because Sephardim wait 6 hours between meat and milk, then to have the dairy products. But all households are different within regards to that. We read the book of Ruth also. Now, reading the book of Ruth, I believe, in many of the communities, especially Ladino ones, was preceded by reading or singing, let's just say, the famous Azharot, this was a, let's say, a poetical enumeration of the 613 mitzvot, the 613 commandments. In fact, Ladino-speaking, let's just say, Jewish people included translations of this literary back in the day and added various different Ladino songs also. I think there was something called the La Ketuba de Lay, which is a marriage contract of the law of the Torah, respectively. Now, I think there was actually a Solonikian rabbi called Rab Michael Molho. He actually would describe in his, let's say, writings, various traditions on Shavuot in his town, of the customs of the Sephardic Jews in Salonika over there. He would say that they would pray and spend the night of the festival in holy readings and songs of joys. They would arrange to spend some time outside the city in the middle of green fields under a blue sky. Very interesting. This is what they said. They had a basket full of provisions, cheese pies, hard-boiled eggs. Actually, I believe, that's very interesting. Peas, salads, and had light coffee color drinks or cream puddings, naturally. So that is very interesting. Now, we know that the Jewish community, there was also a special bread that the Ladino countries would have. I think many of the Iberian Jews or people that left Iberian, it was special, symbolic, let's say, challah bread for Tikkun El Shavuot. Now, naturally, staying up the whole night on Shavuot, you're staying up the whole night, you need to keep awake. So it's an all-night study session on Shavuot where different, as we said before, different programs, learning programs going on the whole night. And I think, obviously, in Salonika, respectively, unfortunately, 96% of the Sephardic Jewish population there perished. They died in the Holocaust, sadly. And there was a tradition of baking this bread, let's just say. I think it was called Kielos bread, respectively, over there. Now, it's actually interesting. I think the first Sephardim, just going to a bit of history, arrived in Salonika, a city in the Ottoman Empire, back in the year 1492 from Mallorca, respectively. They were, let's say, coming. There were obviously there was a forced, I believe, conversion out of Judaism at that point in time. So many of them were called the Moranos. So many of these people, they were going to this specific area, and they came from various areas, including Castile, Sicily, Aragon, Naples, Venice, Provence, and Portugal. I think Jews made up 68% of the population of Salonika, I think, in the year 1613. Saloniki is, let's say, the only known example of a city of this size in Jewish diaspora that maintained a Jewish majority for centuries. So it's a very famous place. It was influenced by huge amounts of Sephardic culture, let's just say, in of itself, economically, very much. There was rich and milky. And it happens to be milky, needs to do it in a specific shape to distinguish regular bread, because there could be a problem if you're going to have a challah and then you think it's a regular parva challah, and then you're going to have it with something meaty and it's really milky, like one of these kind of things. That's a problem of basar, challah, meaty and milk together. So anyway, it's a special shaped bread. I think it's it's symbols of the giving of the Torah of Mount Sinai are, let's just say, carved into the challah. First, I think there's a round challah formed to represent the mountain of Sinai. 7 pieces of dough are rolled out and pressed against a round challah, which forms a ring around it. They represent, let's say, the 7 heavens, or the clouds, you could say clouds of glory. Here we're in the time period of the Parshot, where the Jews are leaving the wilderness. And then they're carved and pressed up against the clouds. Now, each family, I think, had its own traditions in Saloniki. But some common symbols are the Torah, Yaakov Avinu's ladder, Jacob's ladder, also known as the Be'er of Miriam, the well of Miriam that accompanied them in the desert, the Star of David, the Hamsa, and the tablets of the 10 Commandments, the Aseret HaDibrot, as we call naturally, which is also another interesting tidbit which people will have over there as part of, let's just say, the bread. I think honey is spread over it. We know that the pasuk actually features honey and milk, dabash v'chalav, and so I think so naturally why the honey will actually be included. It's spread over and sprinkled with sesame seeds. They should serve this, and they say that they would read the 10 Commandments and serve this bread at that point in time. Now, it's absolutely amazing, like different customs, rich customs, especially in Sephardic countries that will come about, especially the Jews from Spain and their descendants. Mark the holiday, obviously, with all these liturgical poems as part of the synagogues. Obviously, the poem of Azarot, which we spoke about before, lists 613 mitzvot, commandments. Very interesting enough. And I think someone actually wrote something in 2015 and quoted, the most famous version of Azarot was written by the great medieval Spanish rabbi and poet, Rabbi Solomon ibn Gabriel, who lived between the years 1021 to 1058. They say on the first day of Shavuot. Remember, in the diaspora, I'm reading this article, it's 2 days of Shavuot. So now it's talking about the first of Shavuot over there, and actually in Israel it's only 1 day. 248 positive commandments are read, and 365 negative commandments are on the second day. We're talking outside of the land of Israel here. Various different people, including Moses Maimonides, Rav Moses Maimonides, they spoke like they critiqued, let's just say, this order of the Azarot, arguing that categorizing the biblical law should be left to experts in the Talmud. So he would actually point that out over there. There's another, I think there's a famous Ladino song also connected to Shavuot, which we mentioned about before, called the Ketubah de Laleh. I think it was written by Rabbi Yehuda Leon Kalai, if I'm not mistaken, who was, I think it was, let's just say, a Hebrew text similar to Ketubat HaTorah. And I think it was similarly written by another great Sephardic poet, someone named Rabbi Yisrael ben Moshe Najara of Gaza, who lived between the years 1580 to 1625, we mentioned about before. These songs describe the covenant made at Sinai metaphorically as a marriage between Israel and the Torah, naturally of Hashem. Also, we unequivocally stated, Na'aseh v'nishma, and receive the Torah together. So I thought it would be like a nice idea to actually just a minute with regards to this. Remember, we're going to read Megillat Ruth. We can stay up the whole night. So don't forget to have a nice nap. The custom is to sleep a few hours before Shavuot. they have the energy and the power to do so. Wishing all a Chag Sameach. Everyone subscribe to the channel. We're coming near to 7,000 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement over here. And please follow the channel. Watch all the videos packed with loads of Torah content over here. So on this note, I'm wishing you all a Chag Sameach, Chag Shavuot Sameach. Be well and enjoy. And